Mic check, mic check.
You're watching Chelsea and Tony and Madeline live, and this episode is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform for creating a fast and easy professional website or online portfolio. You can try it out for 14 days, no credit card needed. You hear me say that a lot. And if you like it, you can go to squarespace.com and use the coupon code PORTFOLIO to get 10% so to show them, hey, you should keep sponsoring Chelsea and Tony. Great job.
Yeah, we don't make any money. It just lets them know that you heard about it from us. So maybe these shows can keep going on.
This week, we will be reviewing your macro photos, so send those in. Yeah.
Not everybody knows the term, but macro just means close-up photos. When you get really close, closer than the average lens could really focus. So
Yeah.
It's often really, really tiny subjects. And it can be very technical, but very cool sort of photography. I gotta say, it's one of my favorite sorts of photography because when you get into macro photography, you start to notice
Every
teeny
little
tiny
thing.
things in the
Yeah.
world around you, things that you just wouldn't normally see. It's also one of the most maddening if you're any sort of germaphobe because you take a picture of something small and you suddenly realize everything has like
There is gross
hairs
on
and dust
everything.
yeah,
It's also like, it takes a lot of patience.
it takes a tremendous amount of
You and
patience.
Madeline are good at macro. I'm not a very patient woman.
Yeah, it's technically one of the most challenging types of photography. This particular picture, which people hate because it has a spider in it, but
I think he's cute.
it definitely took me a couple of hours total. It's
adorable.
a combination of something like 30 or 40 pictures, carefully stacked in software. And to get this particular one, I had to set up all these fancy lights.
So
hard.
if you missed the opportunity to send in your, I don't have any, you can go to sdp.io, get close, and you can check out a video on how to take your own macro shot. Or you can get our book, or if you have our book, you can check out chapter 12, and we have a whole chapter on macro. If you, well, yeah.
I was going to show off, just to introduce Madeline as a photographer a little bit. This is a picture she just took yesterday, and she's taken lots of. And tell them how you took that picture, Mad.
I went outside and took it.
Yeah, well, it was a little more involved than that because I think a lot of people, if they saw a bird in the tree, they would probably stay put where they were and just try to snap a picture of it.
I moved
But you
close
grabbed
to it.
the 70D with the 400mm lens, and then you just kind of snuck out there, right?
Mhm.
And I noticed going through your pictures that you went to a couple of different locations, and this was, I thought, the best picture, but it turned out just really good. It was handheld too, which is really nice. It can be really hard just to get the focus, especially through the branches.
Yeah, I was doing what you told me to do, to like this, to try to get it focused.
Move your body.
There you go, yeah, because that depth of field is so shallow that even when the camera says it's focused, sometimes it's just, it could be on the wing here or a little bit behind. And so, yeah, you just take lots of shots and move in and out, and you nailed one.
She did it. Good
We're
job.
also reviewing some portfolios this week, so if you have a whole portfolio, a website dedicated to your pictures, you can send us a link at sdp.io/link. It doesn't have to be hosted on Squarespace, but we do find when people use non-Squarespace hosted websites, they often have usability problems and stuff.
They sometimes do.
A lot of people end up moving over to Squarespace, but we will look at anybody's website and we won't bust you just for not using Squarespace. That's just fine for us.
I was going to say earlier, if you don't have our book and you want to check out the macro chapter, or you just want to learn more about photography, they start at $9. So help support the show. We more free videos, and it's a dang good bargain. We just updated our SDP, our photography book, and now it has 12 hours of video that hasn't been on YouTube. So,
And we're so close to getting 1,000 reviews on Amazon for SDP. We're at like 998 reviews.
oh, big round numbers.
Big round numbers, the most important thing in life.
I accidentally left it this week, but that's supposed to say next week is still lifes.
Ah.
So, still life, you should just Google it if you don't know what it is. It can be kind of in depth. Well, I say that because there's a lot of metaphor that goes in it, a lot of
Yeah.
storytelling, but it's a good opportunity to practice using lighting. It's a good opportunity to practice your composition. And it's a really fun exercise. So you should do that this week and submit your picture next week.
Did you put a link into your video? No, you did not. But if you look on our YouTube channel, search it for Still Life, you'll find Chelsea made a whole video. She kind of goes into the history of it all.
Yeah.
And before we get too deep, I wanted to cover a technical discovery that I made this week. And I discovered that the graphics cards that most of you have in your computers are not showing you black to white completely when you watch our videos or any video on YouTube or pretty much any video in any player. Instead, if 0 is black and 255 is white, they're showing you the range 16 to 235. So if we show a picture that actually has white in it, you'll see it as a bright gray. And if it has black, you'll see it as a dark gray. But that means that everything looks a little washed out.
Well, this is really relevant because I just did a video on editing a landscape and people were like, there's no difference, there's no difference. And I could not figure out for the life of me because it was actually just far more processed than I would normally do, but I was kind of making a point, and it was because I think of the way that the video was exported and uploaded to YouTube. It just looked really flat.
Yeah, and it could be that when we're editing your pictures on the show, you'll look at our edits and think it's still kind of washed out. But to us, seeing it on this computer, we would see it more vibrant, more contrasty. There's an easy way to fix it. Almost everybody out there probably has an NVIDIA graphics card in your computer, even if you don't know it. If you have a Windows computer or Linux, you can get the NVIDIA control panel. Just Google it and they'll come up with their website. Install it, and then go into the settings. And if you look at Adjust Video Color Settings, so next to the last setting down here, select NVIDIA settings instead of the video player settings, and then change the dynamic range to full, 0 to 255. And then come back, reload the video, and suddenly everything will be so much more contrasty.
How do we look? Do we look better to them this week? We're usually really washed out.
Well, they have to go in and do this because it's kind of a client-side problem. I can't, it's not something we can change in the video. That's how it came about, because I was trying to fix this contrast problem. Then I realized it was just on my computer, and in fact on just about every computer was just washed out. So something to take a look at. Before we go into the news, maybe you want to take a look at a portfolio real quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I ever?
This is Eric Syk. How would you pronounce? Sykkinen. Eric Sykkinen.
Yeah, probably that.
So looking through it,
Ooh,
we have
that's a
some
nice
portfolio. We have some portraits and some landscapes. Feel free to chime in with your thoughts
Oh,
on
yeah,
anything,
Matt,
Matt.
if
You'll
you have-
probably have to jump in because we try to avoid dead air. So there's kind of like a constant
Yeah,
stream
we
of
don't
talking.
really stop, so you can interrupt us.
I love this shot. I can tell it's a long exposure because there's some movement in the people
Her
there. So
arm. Yeah.
so the boat is actually pretty still. It might be a little much with the processing, but
Let's click on
Okay.
Ibiza because I want to go there.
beautiful.
It is beautiful. I think that's Spain. Right, Justin, Ibiza is Spain, right?
Ibiza is an island in Spain. That's correct.
Justin, our local Wikipedia.
He knows everything.
Just
It's crazy.
Jesse knows everything. Yeah. So you have some street photography mixed in here. I really like these pictures. I think let's look at the thumbnails here. I feel like there might be a few too many pictures. So we have about 20 pictures. I like to target 10 to 15. And you have a lot of variety in the set, but the way they're ordered doesn't really show you that. So a couple of these pictures are very similar and they're stacked back to front. So you could just mix in some of these street photography pictures with the landscape pictures, and it would definitely feel
try
like
to shuffle them
more variety.
so that the viewer feels like they're seeing something new every time.
Oh, that's a gorgeous picture. This actually, I don't think this was in your portfolio link, but it should be. I love that picture. I love the effect that wide angle and clouds gives, wide angle lenses and a long exposure gives on clouds, the way it feels like it's coming at you. Are there just 2 pictures in there? No, I don't know why I wasn't scrolling forward.
Which pictures do you like, Madeline?
I
Yeah.
like the sunset one.
Sunset one?
Mm-hmm.
Some of these look a little bit dark to me. If you go back a few. One more.
You're right. Yeah, that's a little bit dark. These clouds should be bright white, like 100% white, kind of like this background here. And raising the shadows could help some too. Okay, overall I think it's coming together really well. Harness racing.
What is this?
Oh, that
That's
must
a
be.
beautiful shot. I love the steam.
Yeah, it really is. I would raise the shadows here, but
Me
right
too.
away we have two like
Ooh, I love that.
duplicate pictures.
I would just
basically.
keep that one and ditch the other one.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I think of these first 3 pictures, I would just pick one.
I didn't even know this was a thing.
Yeah, we don't really see this in America. You ever seen anything like that, man?
No.
Oh, that's very cool. I think this is the coolest of the shots. And of them, I might just go with that one.
I'd rather have that than a car. That's what I'm getting Madeline when she turns 16.
Oh, that's a very
That's a
cool
great
shot with the
shot.
backlighting. I wouldn't mind a little cropping.
Ooh, that one's really good too.
Yeah, that's the one.
Great shot.
Great shot. So let's take a look at your About page here. All right, you got a picture of yourself, an email address, a little bit of a story, and a map. I think it looks great. So we gave you a little bit of homework, a little bit of narrowing down, a little bit of mixing up, but overall, I think it's looking really, really good.
Right, man?
Yeah.
I like your landscapes. I think they're really beautiful.
We'll take a look at some more portfolios later. You can go to sdp.io/link to send us your portfolio, and hopefully we'll have a chance to get to it. I wanted to cover a couple of stories in the news.
Wow.
First, I think it was the, I want to say, now I'm drawing a blank, not UCLA, which is a university, but the organization that protects civil rights. What is that? Somebody. Okay. There's an organization that protects civil rights, and you all know the name, and I'm just drawing a blank at the moment. But they, on the behalf of 3 different photographers in the LA area, sued the LA Police Department for, because those police stopped people from taking pictures in public places. And it varies from country to country. Oh, it happens all the time. In fact, when we were at the MoMA last weekend, I had a security guard stop me from taking a picture because she was included in the picture. It was just like the way she was standing and kind of the way she was interacting with a particular piece of art. She stopped me and made me go through my camera, including looking at other pictures that weren't of her to make sure. And then I had to delete every picture that included her in it.
I can't believe you never told me that. Like I was right next to you.
You were off somewhere else. Yeah, you'd wandered away, as we often do in museums. But
you know what? I think
she told me security guards are not art. That's what she told me. But it was in a public place.
I beg to differ because I have a really good picture of a security guard at the Louvre, and he was art.
Right, and art cannot be defined in that way anyway. So I found the whole experience very ironic and funny, and I wish I could even share it with a picture, but I had to delete the picture.
I'll show mine, but this is what's so beautiful about it, is that people come from all around the world to see this art, and then the security guards are just like, like they're just like so bored in a room of like Pollocks.
She's wrong because once I saw a statue of a security guard.
You did?
Yeah,
There you
at
go.
the like art museum, right in the front, there's a statue of a security guard.
That's
And
beautiful.
it looks exactly like a person.
I wish that we had that to like be like, actually, wrong
I
again.
do have a picture.
So none of us are lawyers, but generally the way I understand it works is in the United States, you can't take a picture of somebody if they have a reasonable expectation of privacy, which means they can be inside their house and they would expect to have a reasonable expectation of privacy. So you can't take a picture through their bedroom window of them. That would be illegal. But if somebody's in a public place, including a museum, which might be a private place, but it's still the public is allowed in, people don't have an expectation of privacy. I couldn't take a picture of them in the bathroom. There they have an expectation of privacy. Standing next to an exhibit,
Is there
you
a
do
story
not have
about
that.
I should know about?
So my understanding is there's nothing illegal about it. And anyway,
Siobhan laughed.
it's a controversial thing. You can take these pictures, but you couldn't, for example, sell them unless you had model releases. You might even take a picture of a private residence or a privately owned building and not be able to sell that picture without a release from the people who own it. But you could take the picture. It could be your own personal picture. You're allowed to capture these things. And the civil rights organization took the LA police to court. They paid $50,000 to these 3 different photographers in total, and then have to give all law enforcement in the area a lesson that says don't stop people from taking pictures in public places. But it happens all the time, and as a photographer, it's just maddening to have
This
to
is
go.
my advice to people. If you're somewhere and a police officer tells you can't take pictures, just say, you're not the boss of me. And that should get you far in life.
Yeah, it will get you a free ride down to the police station, probably. It's better, at least in the digital era, they can just make you delete a couple of pictures. In the film era, you just had to take out your whole roll of film and hand it over. Or in the movies, they would always throw your camera on the ground and smash it with their foot. I never had that happen to me. But
Which movies is that?
so
They-
many
Peter
movies.
Lick's house.
ACLU.
ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union. Yes, thank you, Justin.
Okay.
So you can see why I came up with UCLA. Common mistake. Peter Lick is a photographer, and he has some very good work. He does a lot of landscape work.
Dang.
Anyway,
I
apparently,
am not taking the right pictures.
no. I wanted to show off his house. He's selling it in Maui for $25 million. It's spectacular. Spectacular. If
That's
you
a
are interested in real estate,
That's a house, Madeline.
yeah, you can
It's
go
like
to that
3
link. He's got
houses in
awesome
a
pictures of
row.
it. Anyway,
His house has a house for when it gets lonely.
yeah, apparently you can aspire to this as a landscape photographer, to live in a $25 million house on the beach in Maui.
How does that even happen?
He
Whenever
lives in 3 houses.
he lives in 3 houses. I try to take pictures for friends for a reasonable rate, and they're like, $1 seems good. Look at Peter Lick.
Yeah, he's not doing that by taking free pictures of his friends. So let's see if anybody has submitted some pictures. I'll let you shill for a minute, Chelsea, while I try to import some new
What do you
pictures.
want me to do?
Just talk and be
Madeline, you're
entertaining.
going to become a landscape photographer because Mama needs a house in Maui.
Wasn't quite thinking of that.
That's all right. You're going to be a teacher, right?
No,
Oh.
a teacher and a photographer.
Oh. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Okay, so here we have a spider that's captured an ant.
Oh,
What do you guys think?
sad tail.
I'm not really a fan of. I like spiders better than ants, I think.
I
So
just need a little
I like ants.
light. You like ants?
I do think that's better. You know what I'm gonna do?
What?
You got to crop it down a little bit.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. This is what Tony does.
Yeah. There's that.
Oh, much scarier.
More gruesome, and you can see that we're struggling with a really common problem in macro photography, which is depth of field, because that spider is just so out of focus, and I think we'd actually like to see more of the details in the spider. You can use, let's see if we have no metadata here, but it might be at f22. It might be at a really high f-stop, which should give you a lot of depth of field, but it's still not enough. You can overcome that with a technique called focus stacking, which we do cover in chapter 12. And you'd have to take a lot of pictures of this. I know because I've tried to get this exact same picture. And if you're lucky, if there is no wind, if, for example, the spider is indoors where there's no wind at all, you can probably get through that series. The spider will hold pretty still. It'll take you a couple of minutes to get the whole thing, but if you can do that without the spider moving, then you might be able to get the whole thing in focus. It's tough, though. Oh, skipped one.
Oh, more ants.
Yes.
Oh.
Not macro photography,
No.
insect, or not insects, but
I actually like it better like this.
ant photography. Yeah, you like it zoomed in further, cropped. Okay, you go for it, Chelsea.
I'm going to pull a T-Nor through. Maybe even more. Sorry, I'm a bit clumsy with the mouth. I like my Wacom.
Yeah, so what are the key elements of the composition? And to me, it is that opening and the kind of ants. And by cropping it down, we didn't eliminate any of the key elements, but we did make all the key elements more prominent in the frame. So I think it does make it an overall more powerful picture.
Yeah.
Now, cropping is like the only compositional technique that we have at our disposal here. If we were taking the picture, I would just say, move in even closer. It's definitely interesting in black and white. It almost looks infrared.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
I didn't find the colors too distracting, but
I've never seen them in a crater like that.
Whoa. Yeah.
What do you like
cool.
about it?
It looks like somebody's actually like blowing it, like it's in mid-wish.
Oh,
yeah.
I love the colors. It's so rich.
Yeah, I love the colors too, and it exposes details to me that I've never really thought about before, which is one of the awesome things about macro photography. I've never really thought about how it connects like that. Beautiful
Yeah,
cut.
and also these have little rough barbs, which must help because they're seeds and they need to stick into the ground.
Yeah.
Kind of have to stay put.
Yeah, you do
Nature
learn a little
is
bit about nature.
cool.
Beautiful.
Nature is cool.
Nature is cool.
Now, almost nothing in the shot is in focus. I
Just a
still
little
think
bit
it's kind
here.
of beautiful.
Yeah, I like it.
But at this point, it's almost abstract.
I would, hold on. Something about the color is just a little bit off to me.
Yeah, I think raising the exposure would help some too, just overall increasing the contrast of it. Just give it a little more pop. And I might even crop it and just fill the frame with the color. Because it is so out of focus, we're not going to be drawn in by the details. And I don't think the kind of green background adds a lot to the
I like it. I think that there's a
composition.
dandelion.
Uh,
Oh,
I don't know.
no.
Maybe you like the green better. Okay, so here we have it's like a half burnt.
It's a leaf
cigarette
smoking a
on a leaf.
cigarette.
I do not know what to make of it, and I don't know what
Cigarette smoking.
is at the bottom.
It's a cigarette smoking a leaf.
Are they floating?
Yeah, but I like it. It's like
Pow.
pow.
It's like pow.
Hmm.
I feel like there's a story there, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but
It almost feels like a still life. Like I feel like it was placed, but
I do like it.
Stunner.
Oh, good lord.
a fly from the
Oh my gosh, that's
other side, from the
the
underneath.
fly's bum.
And again, we're kind of struggling with the field here because I think with insects you want as much depth of field as possible. So using a higher f-stop number would give you
I'm going to bump up this clarity.
required to use a higher and higher ISO, and we can see there's already a lot of noise. But again,
I don't like seeing
image
that.
stacking would allow you to overcome that, and the fly was definitely holding still long enough for you to move your body in and take 10 or 20 photos and stack them together and get extra depth of field. I do think, yeah, going a little off-center with the composition makes it
Actually
much
gonna
more
put it that
interesting
way,
too.
because then I'm following the rule of space better.
Because there was lots of negative space in there, and you should use
not
that
quite
in
right.
some way. It's cropped oddly too, like almost like a panorama.
Yeah, but I still like the picture, except for
Yeah.
knowing a little too much about that fly. This is beautiful. This is. I love the colors. I love the light. How it hits.
Raindrops.
Oh, you're right. They're droplets of water. Really beautiful. I just want to put an inspiring quote over it.
It is really pretty, and I like the depth of field here. I like parts of it that are out of focus because it supports the kind of nice, soft, almost romantic mood of it.
Yeah,
The colors are nice and rich.
it's beautiful.
If you like the water droplets, I'd take this picture as is, and then I'd grab a spray bottle and maybe add some extra water droplets and
Oh.
take another picture and see
Oh.
if that gets to be even better. So the flowers, spider webs too. You can add a little water.
It's hard to add water to a spider web. Disclaimer.
They'll eat
Why do
you.
you say that?
No, they might. I can't promise that.
What
but
experiences have you had?
if
in
you
that?
don't have a,
What did you do?
you don't know her life, okay? If you don't have a very fine mist,
She's been hurt.
it breaks the web.
Yeah, you actually you don't want like one of those Windex spray bottles, but you can get a mister.
You need a
And we have a mister, and if you
Mister,
adjust it
mister.
properly, it just psst,
We do have a mister.
miss.
And we wonder why people. We do have a mister.
Well, we have a mister specifically for
I
photography.
saw that spider before.
That's a beautiful
I
picture.
don't like him.
It's eating somebody.
I like him.
You think that's a body?
I think it's a very cool picture. I actually like the pink surface, whatever it is that he's on. We misfocus on his eyes a little bit.
What
and-
eyes? That's the tiniest eyes I've ever seen on any creature.
Yeah, the beady eyes aren't really helping his lovability, but it's a cool picture. And if you're not going to stack pictures, then what you're going to want to do is put your camera into continuous shutter, click, 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 click,
What?
and lean the body in and out, kind of as Matt showed you earlier, but in such little increments. Like just lean your body just the tiniest amount, because you can see it misfocus on his eyes by some number of millimeters. It's just behind.
Not even, maybe one.
Yeah, and you cannot hope to manually or automatically focus on the eyes. All you can do is just spray and pray, as they say, Move the body in and out a little bit, and one of those shots will land on his eyes.
I like that. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Actual snowflakes. That's something I've always wanted to do, and we have so much snow this winter, and yet I never took a picture of a snowflake. I don't know why. I've always wanted to get it. That's absolutely beautiful. Snowflakes are really amazing.
Snowflakes.
Again, the depth of field is kind of a challenge here. You really see the snowflake is basically two-dimensional. It's basically flat.
Yeah.
And the focal plane is basically flat, but they're not quite lined up. So we see the top of the snowflake is out of focus. So you want, in this way, to get the whole thing in focus. You do this with butterflies or anything that's kind of flat, just to try to line it up perfectly. And it can be really hard. Again, focus stacking can help make this more precise. But something to think about in macro photography is where exactly that focal plane is and trying to get it precisely lined up with your two-dimensional subject.
Whoa.
Friend.
This is a macro story with a photo and just gorgeous colors. I really like it. I was going to do exactly the same thing. Yeah, gorgeous colors, and I love the story here.
What do you think the story is, Madeline?
One was not smart, and it went on a flower, and then the branch that it got to the flower to broke, and then now the other ants helping it.
I bet it's the mom. It's like, I told you not to climb that. You've never listened.
That one looks bigger.
5 stars. Let's see what else we got here in the news. Oh, this is your story, Chelsea.
Well, Science for the Curious. Discover magazine says drinking alcohol makes your face more attractive, which is not true, Madeline. It makes your face ugly. Let's move on. Chit chat.
But just in case.
But just in case Tony's taking a sip.
I know we haven't played a video forever, but you can submit a video. Go to scp.io/sup, ask us your question, and one of these days we're going to get video questions
So chit
actually
chat is
working.
when people ask us questions and then we take them and we put them up and we answer them. So the double B asked, I have a question. Which camera fanboys/fangirls are the worst? Is it Sony? I bet it's Sony.
This week, it's definitely the Sony fanboys, fangirls, because we released a video that had a Sony in it.
Well, that's hard. Which are worse to us? Like Sony people don't like us, Fuji people, Olympus people, Panasonic people. But I think in general, I'm not a fan of the fan people. Why are you loyal to a brand? They don't care about you. You should just do what's good for you.
No, and it's funny because we always get accused of being fanboys, and yet we have
I'm
no
not even a
loyalty.
boy.
We switch left or right. Whatever we happen to grab that day is whatever we're into.
But people always say, oh, there's some that were like, oh, see that? They said something bad about Sony again. And it's just comical to me because I've just been shooting with Sony that day, or it's the camera I choose to bring to a concert. So I guess what I'm saying is you don't know me.
And we get accused of being a Canon fanboy and a Nikon fanboy,
Hate is going to hate.
and even a
That's
Sony
true,
or
Madeline.
Panasonic fanboy at times.
What are you going to do?
In our Fuji versus Olympus video, we were accused of being an Olympus fanboy.
What are you going to do?
We've never been accused of being a Fuji
I guess
fanboy.
we're just a fanboy of
It's the
everything.
only thing.
I was
Never
just about
accused
to
of.
say.
Georgino says, Sony is the future. You don't know how Sony cameras work. Okay.
I mean, if we couldn't figure out the Sony camera, at this point, with all the cameras we've reviewed and our years and years of photography experience, you'd have to put on the camera at some point. Because we can figure out cameras. Like, we're smart enough to focus a camera.
Yeah, but this is some vague kind of complaint. Sony is the future? Like, what future? And we don't know how they work. Like, what are you talking about? What specifically? Go to sdp.io/mistake. If we're using it wrong, I sincerely want to know. Tell us what we're doing wrong. We'll retest. We will amend our videos. Like, that's all we care about.
But I will say, we tested the eye-controlled autofocus, and we didn't mention it in the video, but we tested it. It's not very reliable.
I'm sorry. This is our life.
This is our life.
This is our life. We put stuff out for free and people complain.
Yeah, I don't expect anybody to read all this, but Bart Schuck commented on the video that I did with Joe Jackson back and forth. He was just saying, oh, I can't believe how polite and professional you were.
Me either.
But why? Why does everybody who disagrees on the internet have to be, like, offended? Why does it have to be a fight? But, like, from a scientific background, if somebody comes to you with differing evidence. If they say, hey, you said 2 + 2 = 4, seems to me like 2 + 2 = 5. And maybe they're right and you're wrong, and you take a look at it, but you don't have to like call each other stupid or get mad. And I think that's what everybody was stunned about. Like, why aren't you guys angry at each other? Neither one of us were angry at each other. We were polite. And
No, Joe was not rude. People called him a lot of really mean names, but I mean, we get people attacking us personally all of the time, like our appearance, our relationship,
yeah,
like our car, where we live, everything. People take it really low. And for Joe to just keep it about photography was just polite. You can disagree with us. We don't care.
yeah, he disagreed, but he never got personal. People call him a troll, but trolls get personal.
Yeah.
They
And
go
they're usually anonymous.
off topic, and they're anonymous. They never put themselves out there. Joe put themselves out there. He put his face and his name out there. And then he watched the video and he said, oh, okay, good. I see that we agree on everything. He didn't take any issue with
But
my
then
response.
he
agreed with all the
actually
data I had.
put time into asking us real questions instead of
Yes.
just calling us an idiot. Like, he actually put the time into making a video. So
Yes, and I love that. I encourage other people to do that. You don't have to make it a video, but a video does make it easier for me to respond in video format, because that's the format that we actually work in. So that's a good way to do it. But also, I'd love to see people take sample pictures, examples, like prove your point.
Yeah.
Don't just say you're wrong. Prove it.
Yeah, I had a guy actually tell me that he got all of his pictures in focus with Sony with the autofocus. He was disagreeing with us, and I said, well, send us those pictures, because if we're wrong, we want to know. And he sent them, and 8 out of 10 were out of focus. And I told him, you know, I like your photos. Sharpness isn't everything. I hope you don't think I'm being rude, but they are out of focus. And he just agreed, and he was polite about it. So
Yeah, it's totally reasonable. Like, 2 people came to different conclusions about the same equipment, and when you looked into it, it found out you were just measuring your results differently.
yeah.
So it added up then. He wasn't as picky about focus as we were, so that made sense.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go over to Siobhan and see if Siobhan has any other comments.
Siobhan, first I want to tell you that one of the people that were very upset with us about a crop factor video told me I should just go review lipstick and purses instead. I know.
How do you feel about that, Siobhan?
I know you were the only one that would truly feel my pain. I don't usually cry sexism, but that was pretty harsh.
That guy's a troll.
Oh my God.
That guy's more than a troll. He's a very small person.
Yeah, point him out to me on the internet, please. I'll have my time with him.
I'll send you his post.
Okay. Our lovely friend Kyle Wolf says, you guys have talked a lot about teleconverters in the past, but what about extension tubes for macro? How many would you recommend for photographing insects on general 105 millimeter macros? Also, what brands?
Okay, so there's no one answer for this, because the amount of extension that you add has to do with the focal length of the lens and the amount of extension that the lens has built in. So what an extension tube does is it physically moves the lens away from the camera's sensor. It's just it's an empty tube that goes between your lens and your camera. It just moves it further away. And that's how focusing close-up works, is you have to move the lens further away from the sensor, all the optics. So extension tubes come in 2 varieties. The cheap type, which can be $10 and don't have electrical contacts, or the more expensive type that do have electrical contacts. Everybody seems to use Kenko, and they tend to go for like $160.
Yeah.
There are other off-brands that support autofocus that we've used, and they work great. You still might spend $80 to $120. We have a set from Aputure, not Aperture with an R, Aputure, and we use those on the Nikon, and they work just great. So check it out. Get a set with autofocus, because you need that to control the aperture on the lens, even if you won't be autofocusing.
Yeah.
Does that? I forgot the question.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Teleconverters have optics. Extension tubes do not. Teleconverters bring you closer to faraway subjects. Extension tubes let you focus closer to subjects that are already very close and small. What else you got, Siobhan?
When you were talking about deleting pictures from your camera at the museum, someone asked, but Tony, didn't you teach us how to retrieve deleted pictures?
I did, and the technique is you delete the picture so you don't get in a fight with a security guard, and then you take the memory card out and you put it in your pocket, and then when you get home you use PhotoRec to recover it. Me, I didn't care that much about the picture, and I didn't have an extra memory card, so I just kept shooting, and I no doubt overwrote it. But if you don't keep shooting, then you won't overwrite the file. It's still in there. like a page in a book that's not linked in the table of contents. You just have to find the page. PhotoWare can do that.
Okay.
But I have suggested people do that before. Just always comply. You don't need to put up a fight. Just save the picture later if you want.
Hungry.
Oh, Siobhan's dog is active.
She activated the dog. Do you have anything else for us?
Yeah, I just unmuted myself and that happened. Raj wants to ask Madeline, is Tony a strict dad?
No.
I think he's
Not
kinda
that strict. Okay.
Really putting Matt on the spot.
Anything else, Siobhan?
Sorry, I'm just trying to keep Hungry out of the microphone.
Yeah.
I have some comments. Really, the comment section is pretty slow today. Johnny Longname says that he uploaded the 1000th review for Stunning Digital Photography and that he'll take a 5D M3 for that.
Thank you. We cannot pay people for reviews, but I
would
appreciate
be-
it. And I'm excited we have 1,000 reviews.
Conveniently unethical.
I would toast, but you guys polished off your beverages already.
I still have
Matt has water.
Ah, good. Cheers, man.
1,000
reviews.
reviews on our book. Maybe that
Yay.
book will send you to college one day.
Let's take a look at another portfolio. I'll see something has come in just now, probably. Look at that. Came in just at 5:24, just a few minutes ago.
Nice. I love that picture. That is like a grown man in a baby's body.
Well, let's come on in.
He's cute.
Yeah, that is really cute.
That's for his band. He's a singer-songwriter.
It is kind of a band photo. The crop is a little awkward. You wouldn't want to crop in the middle of a hand like that. You'd want to crop like right in the middle of the forearm there.
I love that one.
Yeah, the crop there is fantastic. Nice warm colors.
I would get rid of this one.
Yeah, that
Not
one
as
didn't.
strong.
Yeah,
I would get rid of that.
yeah. We
Not
have
as
a lot of
strong.
pictures of the same
These
subject.
two are cute.
Yeah. Yeah, the balance of this one feels a little off to me. Don't you think? Like it's a
There's
little
bit-
bottom heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just my thought. The balance on this one is way better. I would even get rid of the previous picture because this one just feels so much stronger to me.
Mhm.
That's a really good picture too. So that first picture I would say could go. That's a great picture too. Great composition. We got everybody to wear. I really like that guy's watch.
You and your watches.
We got them to wear pretty good clothes. Sometimes they don't necessarily match, but nothing is too distracting, which is nice.
Yeah, this family's good looking.
Yeah, they're a good-looking family, and this red shirt actually. Everybody else has kind of muted colors, but he's in the middle of the photo, and
I feel
Looks
like
like
it
he's the
works. I
youngest,
bet he's
so I
the
feel like-
loudest personality with this
That
bright
could
red
be.
shirt. Look at him. I knew it. Gets his own picture.
yeah. Oh, that's a great photo. Yeah, that's a really thoughtful photo.
That reminds me of the picture of Notorious B.I.G. where he's like this.
Uh-huh.
Similar pose.
Make sure you focus on the eyes. Looks like you got caught focus on the hands. You want to select a single focusing point and put it on the eye.
Train tracks.
Another thoughtful photo. This might even be a black and white photo, don't you think?
I love all the blues, but maybe.
Yeah, the blue's a little overpowering. Great shot. Some street photography. Watch the contrast on these because the contrast is a little washed out. I'd
Yeah, I
like to
was
see
going
it.
to say, they want to make sure you have whites and blacks.
Yeah.
One of the tricks I use, just stay tuned. I'll show you when we get into Lightroom. A
Yeah.
good trick for doing that.
This looks like an old
Old
Scan-
timey.
is that Boston? I don't know.
Don't try to guess. This
Uh,
never goes well for us.
I know. That's definitely not Boston. Okay.
Oh, Lynette Davis.
Oh, do you know Lynette?
Well, I'm pretty sure that she's a stunner. Sounds very familiar.
A few photos that could be paired out of this. We gave you some feedback about that. But
Yeah.
overall, it's looking just great. Sorry.
I want to know about her.
Ah, good. She's got a picture of herself. Nice photo too. Yeah, I love that
Yeah,
picture.
that's a great picture. You look very friendly and approachable, and it's also a good photo, so it makes you trustworthy.
Thumbs up to whoever took that picture. Great. Thanks for submitting your portfolio. Let's see if any other photos or portfolios came in. Man, they're coming in left
What
and
do you
right.
think of that?
What?
That portfolio.
I liked it.
Good family shots, right?
Mhm.
Oh, that's a cute picture. I like those wide eyes.
Yeah, they nailed the focus on the eyes, which must have been so hard with that shallow depth of field, but it turned out just spectacularly.
looks like
Beautiful,
trouble,
beautiful
huh?
shot.
Very cool.
Yeah, great climbing photo. These are great shots. This one feels a little low contrast to me. It just doesn't strike me like the other ones. That's a great shot too. Is that the same model?
Yeah, wait, I think it's the same model. I like that picture of her better. This one looks a little bit stiff, but this one is more natural.
Yeah.
That's a nice picture. Oh man,
He's super cute.
hips the dog.
The dog party.
Great
Beautiful shot.
pictures. Let's find out about this person.
Are
Oh, you
these,
want to go more?
do these go to individual pictures or? Oh, I see. So
Aw,
you can kind of dig in a
look at
little
this
bit.
dog. He has a good life. Think she's my ball? He has a bow tie, a ball.
Ah, and they have a
Don't show
pricing
Sandy.
page. That's something we see so rarely. People so rarely just kind of have the huevos to put up their actual prices, but
Huevos.
just throw a little Spanish in there.
Mm.
It means chutzpah.
Mm.
So $100 for an individual portrait. That's a pretty good price. Here's your about page. Robert Hitz in Phoenix, not far from where
Archer
Justin is
Suite.
from Salt Lake, a
Interesting.
beautiful, beautiful
Justin
city.
Land.
Great portfolio. We
That was nice.
had a little bit of feedback for you, but not much. I think everything's looking good. Let's jump back into Lightroom, see what else we got.
Okay, before I forget, Lynette, let me just show you. If you want to bring up the whites in your picture, press Alt on your keyboard, and then when you drag up, you can make sure there's just a little speckle of white, and then you go to, and you can drag down until you have just a little speckle of black, and then you have better looking picture, better contrast. What do you think of this picture, Maddie?
That's cool. That's like the stuff in with the pictures, like half evil, half good. That's what that reminds me of.
Oh, there's like
That's
a
what I
bug
like
on
about
the
it,
side.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish we had a little more depth of field. I wish that other bug were also in focus.
Yeah.
But overall, I really like it. We don't have all the metadata. We don't have the aperture for some reason, but you're at 1/1000th of a second. I bet you could have shot that at 1/150th or 1/250th, and that would have allowed you to use either more f-stop or lower ISO to get a cleaner image. A flying V picture is so difficult to get because they move quickly and erratically. So congrats on even getting a B in the frame that close. Chelsea's right on. You got to bring up the exposure some.
Oops.
But your camera pretty much got the focus just right.
I kind of like it in black and white.
That was
like
all
in
about
color?
the color on this one.
Yeah, all about the. All right. Oh, so pretty.
Yeah, looks like a little honeybee and a buttercup. Beautiful shot. So again, you're at 1/2000th of a
I
second,
think it's
which you
underexposed.
probably didn't need to be.
See the histogram here?
I think you could have done that at 1/250th or so. That would have allowed you to use a lower ISO and just gotten a cleaner image out of it, but it didn't turn out too bad at all. It turned out pretty good.
Hey, you have a trick. What do you do with the luminance? Do you
Oh, well,
to make sure that you just clean up the noise in one spot?
you can't, unfortunately, with the noise reduction. I wish you could. You can do it with the sharpening. So if you hold down the Alt key when you adjust the masking slider here, hold down the Alt key, and it will show you, and drag that to the right. And it should default at like 50 or something.
Okay.
That way you only sharpen the foreground subjects. If you start to
Okay.
sharpen the out of focus background, then it just exaggerates the noise, which looks
Yeah.
bad.
Well, I would go in and just clean up the noise in the background. You don't want to clean it up in your subject, but you can see the difference. This doesn't look really noisy, but just the greens do.
Yeah, and it's so easy to do. I show you in chapter 8 of Stunning Digital Photography. It covers wildlife, and I show you how to go in and select the blurry background and just clean up all the noise. It also lets you crank up
That
the
was a pretty
sharpening
picture.
a little bit.
What is this? It's a tick.
Is that a tick?
Oh wait,
It's a monster of
seen,
some kind. We
I
know it's
seen
in the
like
monster
little
family.
red things around the pool, and they're like so tiny.
Oh, those little tiny reds.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are.
Yeah. In Texas, we had these things called chiggers,
No.
which were kind of orange.
Siobhan loves chiggers.
Siobhan? Really?
She went down south. It was her favorite thing. Tex-Mex and chiggers.
Nobody likes, no, they're not like a bug that you like.
Yeah. She has a pet chigger.
They're like microscopic, like you can't even really see them, and they just make you
That's what she
itch
likes
like
about
crazy.
them.
Oh wait, I don't know what that is. It's not quite completely sharp, maybe because the shutter's a little bit slow at
It looks
at
like one of
140th.
those California raisins that would dance.
Beautiful shot.
Is this a bubble?
Yeah, it looks like
I thought it was
the
Earth
soapy surface of a bubble. Beautiful colors, just gorgeous. No distractions in it. Awesome.
exploding.
I think it's a little oversaturated,
Yeah, and maybe the contrast is a little
but that's cool.
much. We can't really back that kind of thing
I
out.
do like
but
it a lot.
Cool shot.
I do that.
Oh.
Another bee toucher.
Twinsies.
Beautiful.
Wow, look at that detail. You can
Let's
see
bring
the
up the shadows.
individual eyelets on the bee. That's always a good sign. We can see like the texture on the bee's eye.
I'm gonna
Beautiful.
pull a Tony Northrup and crop it a little.
Okay.
Oh,
Chelsea's trying to make me more attractive.
So cute.
so cute.
Beautiful shot. Wow. So this is a flash photo. And you can identify really easily because it just doesn't look like natural light. And macro flashes do like the best kinds of detail. And as a result, you can see just intense detail in this fly's eye.
Yeah. Oops.
But it's not natural. So there's always kind of a trade-off. If you look at chapter 12 of Stunning Digital Photography, I have a setup that I recommend for using on-camera flash that doesn't look like this. This looks like a direct flash, but what you do is you set up this flash with like a little softbox pointing down at your subject. You can get completely natural shots with a ton of light, allowing you to use a high f-stop and a fast shutter all together.
I still really like
And it'll
this
look more
picture
natural.
though.
Yes, because one of the interesting things about macro photography is that you get to explore details that you can't see with the naked eye. And this has intense amounts of detail.
Yeah.
Just looks fantastic.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Oh, we're fighting each other for the keyboard. I just wanted to see just how much detail was in the eye. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it looks like a screen door.
a lot of people identify that as a bee, but it's a fly. There are flies that impersonate bees.
That's
in their
smart.
coloring. No, they're not smart.
That idea is smart.
They're flies. But yes, the idea is smart. Oh, actually, almost everything we've seen has been insects, but here's a really
I
cool
really
color
like this one.
picture, just focusing on like the colors.
What do you think?
I like it. It's cool.
It's nice and bright. Something you don't often see up close.
Taken at 1.3 seconds,
Pretty.
which is nice. They went ahead and shot at a low ISO, even though it required them to get out a tripod and everything, and the depth of field works really well here.
Dang.
There is quite a bit of noise in it. I wonder if you could have gone down to ISO 100.
Still beautiful.
Wow,
Daddy
this has got to be the
long
creepiest spider I've ever seen.
legs. Is that a daddy long legs?
I don't know, is it? It definitely has long legs.
I think it is.
Its body looks a
Yeah, I
little
think it is.
big and weird,
I
but
think it is a good picture, but it's making me uncomfortable.
creeped out by
Cute.
insects or arachnids,
That
but
was cute.
that freaked me out a
Oh,
little
you
bit.
thought it was cute?
Yeah, I thought it was cute.
I like this a lot. It's not macro, but I like that it's in silhouette. I would just clean up the noise.
Oh, it's taken with an iPhone. He gets
Hey.
bonus points for shooting that with
Yeah,
an
it's
iPhone, right?
Awesome. Yeah,
Nicely done.
that is awesome. That is nicely done. All right. See, if you clean up the noise, then it's not as distracting.
Justin, do you have any tweets that we should be responding to?
We have
Tweet,
tweets.
tweet,
Tweet, tweet.
tweet, tweet.
I actually don't really know if you care to respond to this one at this point, but someone asked you to elaborate on the focus breathing issues with the Nikon portrait lens.
Oh, yeah, this consumed my whole day.
Wow. But we're not going to talk about that yet. We have to
Yeah,
make sure.
I don't want to, I need to double check my numbers, and I reached out on Twitter to all nerds for somebody to kind of double check my math and my measurements and my calculations. So if you're a nerd and you have either the Nikon or the Canon 70-200, check the actual effective focal length. And I don't want to tell you how to do it because I want you to follow your own process, because there could be fundamentally a problem with the process that I'm using to measure these things. But I came out with some really results that shocked us all.
I'm not usually into all the techie stuff, but this was very shocking and very exciting, and I can't wait until we can put out the video because it's big news.
Yeah, but rally nerds, put in a couple of hours. It'll take a couple of hours to actually measure the effective focal length of the 70-200 lenses, and let me know what you come up with. What about Siobhan? Siobhan, you got any comments?
She does.
Sure, I
She's
do.
nodding her head.
What do you guys think about Magic Lantern?
Can you hear her?
I think it's cool. Magic Lantern is software that you can install on a handful of Canon cameras, not all of them, and it's hacked firmware that allows the camera to do more stuff through software. And the upside to it is it adds some really amazing features, and Magic Lantern has come so far in the time that it's been out. Like, it used to be so clunky and unreliable, and now it's like refined and nice. And that I wish all manufacturers would allow that sort of extensibility. It makes the Canon camera so much more attractive, especially in the older days. But at the same time, we started to see manufacturers add in the most popular features of Magic Lantern, things like zebras and intervalometers. And it's much better. They just put it into their own firmware, so you don't have to go into the hacked firmware and deal with all that. It was always kind of a pain to use, especially in a professional setting. So I use it at times, but then I would end up putting in the wrong memory card without the firmware on it, and ended up using not Magic Lantern more than Magic Lantern. But Google it if you're interested in it. What else you got, Siobhan?
Oh, I can't hear you, Siobhan.
Oh, I think you're muted.
Sorry, I'm blocking a spammer that keeps popping up. Does Maddie want her own show, and what would it be about?
It would probably be all about animals.
Oh, an animal show.
Yep.
Maddie's all about animal show. Like what, would you interview animals or?
It would be pictures of animals and facts about animals, stuff like that.
That would be a good show.
We can make that happen. Like, you might be the only 11-year-old who happens to have an actual multi-camera live production studio in your house.
That's true.
You can just come down here and make a show anytime you want. You just plan it
The
out.
Maddie Show. I think you should make a craft show too, because you're really good
Yeah.
at making crafts. This kid can make anything out of duct tape or washi tape. You're pretty much a tape genius.
Yeah, I would say.
You got anything else for us, Siobhan?
Eric!
Sorry, my family just got home. Everything is chaotic. Tony, what lighting setup are you using for macro work?
I have a whole video about it in chapter 12 of Sending Digital Photography, but I don't think it's on YouTube. So it's this convoluted thing with like lots of articulating arms and little soft boxes and stuff. And sometimes I'll even set up 3 separate flashes to get more even lighting, like in that spider picture. You can see, if I go back to it here, you can see if you look here, there's 3 separate lights that I have set up for this, but I was kind of just crafted on my own. That provided even lighting and kind of highlighted the spider's eyes, but that's the best I can tell you for now. Here's another comment from Chit Chat.
Yes, DFPV says, I'm learning that most modern day photographers are good photoshoppers rather than actually good photographers. And I hear people say this all the time, and a lot of people are kind of discouraged. They feel like there's no place for a good photographer anymore. And I don't think that's true, because you can't effectively Photoshop a picture if the picture isn't good, if there are highlights blown out or if the composition's off. So you kind of have to be both. And I do agree that we've kind of acclimated to overly processed pictures, so anything not processed seems flat. That does happen a lot. But I think that a good photo really does still hold up. What do you think?
Yeah, I can't say I think most photographers are better at Photoshop than photography, but then again, most photographers I interact with are reading SDP, so they're learning photographic technique first, And I actually end up encouraging people to put a little more time into the editing.
Yeah.
I find a lot.
I have known pro photographers that are really kind of more known for their editing than their pictures.
Yeah,
Or
sometimes
like-
you look at the before and after, and you're like, the before in that picture
It's good.
was a 5 on a 10 scale.
No, I
After
think,
the editing, it's a 9 or a 10. Like
yeah.
sometimes you see people really bring the photos up from almost nothing.
Yeah, a lot of people can really up their game with some good editing.
Yeah, but part of that is once you get good at editing, you start to shoot for post. You start to know so the original picture is not anything like what you had in mind because you know that you need to do certain things in post.
Right.
Oh, we should give Squarespace a quick plug.
Yes.
You're much better at this than me.
Guys, this episode is brought to you by Squarespace. They've got really good portfolios. You've seen a few of them today. It's clean, it's easy. They just added more templates and they're pretty customizable. And it's very affordable. So you can get one for like $8 or $9 a month. And then if you use the coupon code portfolio, you'll get 10% off of that. So I suggest you try it. You can try it for 14 days for free. No credit card needed at squarespace.com/Tony.
/Tony. That lets them know it came from us. We don't get paid or anything. We just want them to know where it came from.
You can check out our portfolios too. Yours is northropphotography.com.
Yep.
Mine is chelseanorthrup.com. And you can see our layouts. And we talk about it sometimes, like most people just look at your first page. You can see kind of your analytics for your portfolio, which I think is fun because you can see what people like, what they're looking at, which categories they're interested in. And it gives you some insight into your photography and what people like. It's a useful tool.
Yeah, thanks for sponsoring us, Squarespace. The last portfolio we saw, Robert Hitz's portfolio, was hosted on Squarespace, and here's what he had to say about it. He said, loving my new Squarespace website. He switched from Wix, another hosting provider.
Yeah.
Setup was a breeze. That's my experience too. They have so many clean templates to choose from. I especially like how Squarespace sites look awesome on other devices as well, like tablets and cell phones. Thanks for the promo code, by the way. Cheers. Thanks for using our promo code and letting them know it came from us. And I'm glad you like the site. I really have, I was in the web hosting business for like 15 years or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I really have evaluated all the current hosting providers for this type of site. And Squarespace is just revolutionary. You don't have to know HTML. You don't have to understand how mobile devices present things. They've created templates that are very customizable, so you can make it look anything like anything you want, but you don't have to fuss with the technical stuff.
They have fun little things too, like you can do your portfolio app on your phone. So if people want to see your pictures, they just display it in a more attractive way for your phone. And they also let you design a free logo. And then they show you what it would look like on your business card or a t-shirt or your website. It's really cool. It's fun.
So this is Photo Scott, and it looks like he has, so he has his portfolio divided into 3 different categories, and this is weddings and events. Starts with the thumbnails. What do you think, Chelsea? Should you start full screen with a picture or start with thumbnails?
I don't know. I like somewhere in between. I like when you can see what's in the picture. Those are what?
I feel like, don't you hate to be the one guy who dresses up for the Halloween party? Or, I don't know, maybe he devoured somebody. There are other explanations for it.
Party.
Well, I don't know.
Well, there's
I do see
spider webs in
webs.
the back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good
yeah,
eye,
yeah.
man. What do you think, Matt? Is that makeup or did he just eat someone?
Just ate somebody.
Yeah, that seems
Oh,
like the
what
most
a
likely
baby.
explanation. So this is event photography, which means everything's unposed and you don't get a chance to deal with the lighting or anything. And these all seem like really solid pictures. The composition on something like this is important because he needs to capture the arm going up and the kind of petals going up in the air, as well as the full story. And he did a great job of the storytelling there. The storytelling here, I have no idea
I think this is
Off
the
a chair?
same
what's going on here.
party that.
This seems like a bachelor party, just based on the fact that everybody has cocktails
Oh,
and it's all dudes, but I'm not sure. Anyway, could have been more story there.
Spider-Man.
This definitely seems like a bachelor party. Oh, that's a
great
fantastic
picture.
picture. I would move this one up.
Babies hate weddings.
Yeah, you want to start with the really strong pictures. And event photography is kind of hard because it's going to mean more to the people.
That was a great picture. It had good lighting.
Yeah, that really is. It's going to mean more to the people attending the event than it does to us or any other viewer. I would definitely pare down the number of pictures here. We have some that are pretty duplicated and maybe a few too many. Let's check out, what do you think? Families and people, music?
Families and people.
Okay, families and people it is. Here we have 16 pictures. Could probably still use a little paring down. Beautiful shot.
You like that?
Yeah, I love the composition there. I don't know where they are, where they have so much green grass. Another great shot, though. I wish we could see the horizon in it as well. Nice portrait. People, maybe a little fill flash on here to brighten up the eyes a little bit, because everybody's got a little bit of raccoon eye. Eyes are in shadow.
That's so cute.
Yeah. Beautiful, nice close-ups of babies.
I want to go there.
Yeah, awesome pool. Some of these seem more like candid shots than anything, but that's a good shot. Cute baby. Okay, so we had one more category here. Oh, the music.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, great use of light. With bands, because there is cool light, you really end up working that, and in fact, the light can often be the focal point. Sometimes you just have to get up and move around and put yourself in awkward places to get the light kind of shining into the frame, work the fog if it's there, but it is going to be all about the light. And then you find a place where the musician is kind of in front of the light and the light is great, and then you just keep clicking, waiting for that moment when they just strum or sing or whatever.
Yeah, I like this picture.
Yeah, that's kind of a fashion picture. Looks fantastic.
This
Really
one's
nice,
great.
intense
Great
moment.
lighting.
I love that picture.
Yeah, this was that Halloween party. Oh, this one's very nice.
Yeah, it doesn't even, I mean, they must be musicians, but it just seems like a portrait to me. I feel like you could even wrap that into the portrait.
Oh, they're at, what's it called? It's like a soup place.
I don't know. You know that specific suit place?
No, I thought it had a name like a haberdashery or something fancy like that.
Oh, I don't know. So it's Scott. It's got a couple
Scott.
of pictures of himself.
I
I like
Scott.
those pictures. Gives a little bit of energy to it. Let's see what Scott had to say about Squarespace.
I like that portfolio. It was clean. Just had to pare down a few pictures, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was in pretty good shape. So easy to use about Squarespace that I can update almost anywhere. I love that it's on tablets and phones. So we'll pop back over here, see if we have anything left.
No, can you believe that was an hour?
Wow, that's a full hour. Well, before we cut out, we should go back to Siobhan and see if any
Siobhan,
other
tell us.
unanswered questions remain.
Let's see. Well, I have a couple of comments. Miss Anday is asking if you would ever do a video about rights, releases, and general legal stuff related to photography, although I guess that would only apply in the US, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's the challenge. One, I'm not a lawyer, but I would actually like to bring a lawyer onto the show to talk about it because it's such a common question. I will say we have more experience than most dealing with releases because we did stock photography for so long. We had to have releases for everything in the book. And it's a real challenge. But like you said, most countries have pretty similar laws to the US.
Yeah.
So yes.
You kind of have to check when you travel. Some places don't let you take pictures of certain buildings.
Yes, you definitely, that's something to be sensitive to. Yeah. What other questions do you have, Siobhan?
Adrienne was wondering if Justin would make a video on filming with the 4K cameras and DSLRs.
What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, that's I think doable. We're always pretty busy though.
Well, we have a whole series on filming in 4K, like currently planned, that we've been building up to. So we've been testing out all these 4K recorders. And as part of that, we're going to cover the last full year we've had of experience with 4K and kind of address the question, is it even worth it? And how do you do it? Because it is challenging. And I can't believe it's been a year since we switched to the GH4s and 4K, but it has been. It's been a long time. Wow. You like lizards, right, man?
I
You know what that
thought
is?
A gecko?
Yeah, I think it's called a tokay gecko.
Ah,
It has cool toes.
that's why it's
It's-
called tokay.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's absolutely stunning. This is an incredibly detailed picture.
I like his lizard eyelashes.
Yeah, fantastic picture. We're just kind of flipping through the pictures because we're running out of time to see if anything in particular catches
I
our
like this
eye.
one.
I
Yeah.
stepped on one of those. It hurts.
Beautiful kind of
Oh, I thought
abstract
you meant a lizard at first. I was like, where?
Which of these catches your eye, man?
Yeah, is there one that jumps out
Um,
at you? You think is beautiful?
Is it this guy?
Yeah. It's
He looks
odd.
sad, right?
Yeah, he looks sad.
Maybe
He
too
looks
much
like he's
noise reduction
begging.
on that one. Ah, water droplets on the web. See what I'm talking
They have
about?
Mister.
See how that makes it pop? Okay, is it 5 o'clock yet? Should we wrap it up?
It's quarter after
6 o'clock, right? Daylight savings time. So one more time, back to Siobhan. Any other final questions for us?
Yeah, so many people showed up late because of daylight savings time. I forgot the rest of the world is smart and doesn't do this garbage.
Most of Europe
Well,
is stupid
Europe-
also.
Yeah, Europe is
Oh,
also
okay.
dumb.
And there are certain states in the US that are not stupid. That don't participate in basically
Right,
switch
Arizona
time zones.
doesn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sorry, guys. We forgot about daylight savings time.
Yeah, I should have warned you guys. It is, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous that we can't change really stupid stuff in our government. Like, it just worries me about the whole process.
Yeah.
Why can't we get rid of DST? Why can't we get rid of the Electoral College? Like other like basic stuff from the 1600s or whenever. DST is even newer than that. Makes no sense.
Oh, don't make him start going on about the electoral
Oh,
college.
I know.
Siobhan, do we have any? What are the questions from these late people?
Any tips on reverse rings and focus stacking?
Well, we do cover that. We have a video about that in our macro chapter.
Yeah. You with reversing rings, you take a lens and you put it backwards. It's a really cool way to do it. And you can
Yeah.
either reverse a lens and put it on the front of another lens, in which case you need a coupling ring, which screws into the filter attachments on both lenses, and they have to match the sizes. Or you reverse that lens and you stick it right on the front of your camera. Either way, because the lens is reversed and you don't have to match the mount of the lens to the mount of your camera, any lens could work. So you could use an old Pentax lens on your Nikon or whatever, but you have no electronic control over that lens. So you need a lens with an aperture ring on it. So mostly older lenses have aperture rings, and older lenses are mostly completely unsharp. So try to find the most recent sharp lens that you can. A good choice for that is the Nikon 50mm f1.8D. Has an aperture ring, can be reversed, and it's cheap, like 120 bucks. Found a picture of a grasshopper, it looks like.
Yeah, we like him.
Okay, I guess we'll call it a day. See you next week at this same time, 5 o'clock New York City time, with daylight savings
With
time
daylight savings.
enabled. Follow us on Twitter and we'll tell you when it's coming up, and you can just watch the countdown if you don't know where you are. So thanks so much.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Siobhan, bye.